I'll give you an example of a story which I usually tell. There was this competition of wife carrying competition where each husband carried his wife and they ran 100 meters. Whoever got there first won the race. But you had to carry your wife. Now, there was this gentleman who was big and well built, a Kanyama, and he had a very small and slender wife. So he just picked her up without a problem and dashed down the line and won the race. Now, on the other hand, there was a man who was very small but had a very big wife. You know, in a Gomez, a big wife. He could not even get her off the ground. So, obviously, he lost the race. Now, where does that come in? The husband who carries is the private sector of Uganda. The businesses, the farms are the husband. The wife is the public sector. In true economics, the private sector is supposed to carry the public sector because they are the ones who pay taxes. So the government can only be as big as the taxpayers within it. You understand? So the reason you have countries which are the richest country in the world is because they have the richest people who pay the most taxes. You understand? Because the people are rich. So now the private sector is very big and the public sector is small. So they are competitive in the race. So remember, the private sector is the what? Is the husband. And the public sector is the wife. Now, there are countries which I know, let's say like Israel, which have a very big private sector. And they have a very big Kanyama husband. And they have a very small wife because their public sector is so small. And as a result, they win the race. They win the race. They are ranked as the eighth most powerful country in the world, with a population of 14 million people. Just 14 million. The eighth most powerful. Why? Because they make sure their private sector is always thriving. Now, Uganda are the country which has a very fat wife of public sector spending, of tens of ministers, permanent secretaries, ministers, ministries, district administrative units, salaries. Can you imagine we pay about 10.2 trillion shillings in just paying wages? Out of the 45 trillion shillings budget that we have, a quarter of it is spent in just paying wages for many people who are doing nothing, of what I would call dead wood. So we have a very thin husband and a very fat wife. So when they say, when the gun goes now, run, the guy cannot even take her off the ground. That is Uganda. So we lose every race because our wife is getting to. So what do we do in such a scenario if we are to start becoming competitive in this race of this economic fiscal policy race? Two things we do. Number one, we put the wife on a diet of vegetables and water. So that includes cutting down government expenditure, reducing dead wood, reducing these wage bills and all these four-wheel drive cars and so on, which have to be brought. So now we put the wife on a diet, a strict diet. So now she starts reducing what? Weight. Then now we go and get the husband and give him some milk and meat and peanut butter, OD, so that the husband does what? Gain some weight, and then we tell him to go to the gym. Now, after around 2 or 3 years, the husband has become, stronger, and the wife has become leaner. Now we are able to compete in this race of fiscal policy.